Cue up your coffin memes. Cue up your crab memes. Mark DiStefano is over party hashtags. That's right. The Buzzfeed journalist and short-lived FT.com journalist appears to have been fired. This is the same man that worked hard to not only deplatform, but demonetize several of my friends, both Count Dankula and Sargon of Akkad. He also worked to deplatform people like Tommy Robinson and others. His entire grift went like this. Oh, hello, YouTube. I'm a UK person. Oi. What, do you have a comment about this evil man on your platform? Oh, okay. I just wanted to double check and see how the, how you felt about monetizing them, because I'm going to write a piece for Buzzfeed on that. Oh, okay. Well, okay, great. Well, we'll just write a hit piece on them then, and we'll let everyone know that you've demonetized them. Simply put, nice platform you got there. Would be a shame if something happened to it. He got off on this, in my opinion. But over the past few days, new information has come out around about him. Not just that he was eavesdropping in on private Zoom calls, but even more. FT journalist suspended after claims of Zoom eavesdropping. Mark DiStefano is alleged to have sat in on a rival newsroom's conference calls detailing salary cuts and layoffs, and also, by the way, live tweeting these things. A reporter from influential Financial Times newspaper has been suspended from his job after allegedly eavesdropping in on rival newsroom Zoom video conference meetings and publishing stories based on what he overheard. Mark DiStefano, a popular figure on Twitter in the United Kingdom, is alleged to have anonymously sat in the chats hosted by both the Independent Online newspaper and Evening Standard, a London-based free daily newspaper. Both titles are based in the same building in Kensington, West London, owned by the parent company of the Daily Mail tabloid. Now, why do I care? BuzzFeed journalist hack is not exactly surprising to most of you. But, you know, I have a overwhelming compulsion to defend my friends. And even when they would display much more class than I do, I don't know that either Sargon or Count Dankula are exactly taking victory laps, but I will. I'm not afraid to admit that I'm a petty, petty human being at times, and I'm exceedingly happy to see this jerk exposed. The article continues. In each meeting, as bosses were laying out their paper's reaction to dealing with the hits to their business with the COOF, including salary cuts, staff being laid off, DiStefano, a former BuzzFeed employer, is alleged to have been live tweeting the details to thousands of followers, 100,000 plus or something like that. It's not alleged. He did it. We now know he did it. He was suspended. And the best part was this big-brained investigative reporter logged into these Zoom calls using his real name. Several people have been reported to have seen Mark DiStefano log in to their Zoom calls, which raised alarm. When he realized they could see his real name, the big-brained journalist then logged in from his phone on an anonymous account, which was easily linked back to his personal cell phone in less than 24 hours. Great investigative journalism, Mark DiStefano. The Independent, co-owned by father and son Russian business partners, Alexander and Evgenij, I don't know how to pronounce that. Some on the call say they saw his name flash across the screen before he left the meeting, The Guardian reporting. An anonymous account then joined the call, remaining in audio-only mode. The account was later traced to DiStefano's mobile phone, The Independent alleges. It also claims that the same account accessed an Evening Standard conference call hosted by the editor George Osborne and former Conservative UK finance minister. What's interesting about this is, how did they link this? A couple of things. First of all, who gave him the link? He obviously had a friend at one of these newspapers that gave him this link. He then knowingly went into a meeting where he did not have permission to be there, and listened and disseminated private information. Many of those employees of these companies found out about their layoffs through Mark DiStefano's tweets before they were able to have contact with their own bosses, which is truly disgusting. Why is this type of thing tolerated in the journalistic community? I'll never know. There was a famous case back several years ago in the UK where a young girl went missing, okay? And apparently they were tracing her phone. They thought she was still alive. Meanwhile, journalists were hacking into her voicemail to listen to her voicemail messages. Well, that's scummy enough. But what happened was the police kept getting pings that the voicemail was being checked. Every time one of these reporters checked the voicemail of the missing person's phone, it sent off a ping. So naturally, the police thought she was still alive. They strung the parents along for much longer than required, only to find out the girl was long gone anyway. This is modern journalism. This was a huge scandal in the UK, and thus they are omitting the word hacking from many of their headlines. But Mark DiStefano didn't have a problem writing these type of articles. YouTube says Tommy Robinson will no longer be able to make money from his videos. Again, after a call from Mark DiStefano that probably went something like, you've got this Nazi on your platform, sir. What will you do about this? And then YouTube saying, well, we don't want the bad press, so we're going to just demonetize him. Then BuzzFeed can write this article and basically imply that they were the ones. You can see the video no longer has comments, sharing button, blah, blah, blah. His Instagram story read this: YouTube demonetization has been an issue for other channels of prominent figures in the UK far right. We all know. And then they go, one Count Dankula claimed he had been demonetized by YouTube at one point last year. Yeah, 12 hours after Mark DiStefano DM'd him. Did you know that? Did you want to report that? Also, by the way, Count Dankula is not far right. So BuzzFeed.news is an absolute joke of a website. And in case you don't know, that's exactly what happened. Count Dankula got a DM from Mark DiStefano saying, would you like to comment about your demonetization? And the only issue is Dank didn't know at that time that he had been demonetized. So somehow Mark DiStefano called YouTube and brought up Marcus's channel, brought up getting him demonetized, knew he was demonetized, then reached out to Dank for a comment afterwards. This guy was a worm, in my opinion. Complete slime, in my opinion. Dankula, real name, yeah, let's just dox him, and Robinson were two of the right-wing personalities, along with Paul Joseph Watson and Sargon of Akkad, a.k.a. Carl Benjamin, yep, got to put his full name out there, who've recently been courted by UKIP. His push, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what's the update? Well, Mark put out a tweet saying, hi, letting everyone know today was my last day at FT. This afternoon, I offered my resignation. Yeah, I guarantee you, you were fired. I guarantee it. This is common with high-profile issues. It allows people to save face, but he was absolutely fired. Thank you to everyone who has given support. I'm now going to take some time away and log off. Right. Translation, wait for this to blow over. Rumors are he's headed back to Australia because he himself knows that he will never, and I mean never, work in this industry again. Let's look at some of the replies. Here's one from this quartering guy, this way to the unemployment line. Interesting. You didn't have to do them like that. Couldn't have happened to more of a sleazy rat, a more deserving sleazy rat. Should read the rules. Must not seek to obtain. Oh, by the way, this is the rule of FT's code of conduct saying, quote, the press must not seek to obtain or publish material acquired by intercepting private or mobile telephone calls, messages, or emails. This was, of course, in response to the hacking scandal several years ago. Mark DiStefano clearly broke this. We see Stinson Hunter. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, not nice. Good riddance. Goodbye. Serves you right. Lamau get got. Then you see, here's an interesting thing. Arvind Hickman says, you've done some great work there, mate. Best of luck in your next chapter. And what do we have here? Hannah Bayman, oopsie doopsie poopsie from the BBC saying, 2 years ago, Mark DiStefano infiltrated a private chat of BBC women staff members, ordinary workers, not execs or editors, and published our conversations along with a string of inaccuracies. Never called anyone to verify or give the right of reply. It's not journalism. Somebody from the BBC, which should, in theory, strongly agree with the actions of Mark DiStefano, given the positions that they've held in the past, even finally coming out 2 years later to completely burn him. And then he replies, I wasn't aware that or the indie stuff when I made my comment. He has written good work in his short time there. No, he's a disingenuous hack. No, that's not journalism. It's an abuse of power by someone with no integrity. Sorry to read of your experience, Hannah. Thank you. This guy was and always was a worm. He was perfectly, in my opinion, that is, he was perfectly suited to work at Buzzfeed, and his career is completely over. I'm told by people close to him and with knowledge of the situation that he himself acknowledges this, realizes his career is entirely over, and is now returning home. If that's true, you will not be missed. There is many more in this industry that need to be exposed, so I will continue to watch this, monitor this, and hope that even more of people that use the same tactics that he does find the same fate with their career. Rest in peace, Mark DiStefano. Won't miss you whatsoever. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.